Greetings and salutations. Thanks for coming back, guys. I hope everyone is doing well. Tonight I'm bringing you 3 Dogman Encounters. Our first Dogman encounter takes place in Walker County, Alabama. In 1969, I was 9 years old and lived about a half a mile down the road from an old church and cemetery. There were 2 other old houses there no one lived in. There were strange things happening quite often around where we lived back then. I remember one of the strange things that happened very well. My dad worked evenings from 3 p.m. till 11 p.m. just 3 miles down the road from our house. My mom, sister, and I had just gone to bed when we started to hear a bumping sound on the back of our house. My sister and I ran from the bedroom we shared in the back of the house to the front of the house where Mom and Dad's room was. My sister and I were scared, so Mom let us sleep with her until Dad came home at 11 at night. Our bedroom had 2 windows side by side on the front of the house above the porch. You could see through the curtains at night due to the streetlight out front. We were lying there after not hearing any more noises when all of a sudden we heard something on the front porch. Mom saw it first and sat up in bed. That made my sister and I notice her staring out the window. When we turned our gaze from Mom to the window, we saw what looked like a very large dog on the front porch. It was walking to the front door upright on its back legs. When it reached the front door, it shook it violently. It was as tall as the door, and we could see it scratching at the screen door with its front paws. It remained there for what seemed like 15 minutes, but it was probably only a minute or so. Mom didn't say a word for the first minute or 2. She just shushed us until it turned and walked about 10 feet to the steps on its back legs. Just before it reached the steps and went down them, it went down on all 4s. Mom told us to go back to sleep, and we eventually did. I don't remember her telling my dad, but I do remember this well. It was 6 to 6.5 feet tall while standing upright on its back legs. You could see all of its facial features, its ears, snout, and its head. Those features made it resemble a German Shepherd. We hadn't seen anything that looked or acted like that thing in the area before that night. A lot of strange things happened there. I can't say it was a dog man, but it did walk on its back legs for several feet. Another time when I was young, my sister, who I shared the back bedroom with at the time, was at our grandma's house spending the night. I had gone to bed but wasn't asleep yet. Mom had my bedroom window open so the air could get in. It was a hot night. The back of our house was high off the ground. Consequently, the bottom of my bedroom window was 8 feet off the ground. I'd been lying there on my back when I rolled over onto my stomach towards the window. My foot went off the bed on the window side and wound up being only a few inches from the window. All of a sudden, something touched my foot. I don't remember if it grabbed my foot or what, but the screen ripped and the curtain fell, and I scrambled off the bed and out of my bedroom into the living room where my mom was. She had heard the commotion and saw that I was frightened. She asked me what was wrong, so I told her what happened. Mom went into my bedroom and saw the hole in the screen and that the curtain was down. She also saw how it was hanging halfway out of the window. She didn't know what to think, so she called my dad home from work. He came home and checked it out and walked around the house before coming in. He said he hadn't seen anything at first. He didn't believe Mom. It wasn't until he saw that the curtain was hanging out the window that he believed her. He couldn't figure it out. We didn't have any problems with prowlers. At first, they thought I had stuck my foot through the screen. I don't think that's what happened. Because I wasn't sleeping yet. I just couldn't have done it. Our next Dogman encounter brings us to Camden County, Virginia. My stepdad lived in Virginia when he was around at the age of 8, right on the edge of the Great Dismal Swamp. According to him, he was in bed one night when the sky was cloudless or just very bright. He never thought until recently whether the moon was shining or not, and he saw a beast looking right through the window at him. He said he could see the spittle running down its face and its eyes were looking straight at him. It was supposedly standing on its hind legs and had cream, red, and brown-colored matted fur and its face almost like a wolf. Other than its snout, its facial features were very human. Its jawbones were high and structure around its eyes, and its eyes themselves were humanesque. The coloring of its eyes, he believes, were yellow. The reason why I think this is interesting and possibly valid is because the Great Dismal Swamp covers a huge amount of territory and is hardly touched by humans. Only until recent years have people started to study its inhabitants. The grounds are wet, mossy, and absorb sound, and people have been known to wander into it and never return. Who knows what could be lurking in the unknown? That just chills my bones. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that he crawled out of his bed and went straight to his mother's room. In the morning, when they looked around the house, all the windows had ground that was stirred up under them and grass was yanked out. There were actual scratches in the wood under his window and paint was missing also. However, as far as they could see, there were no footprints. Our final Dogman encounter brings us to Leon, Florida. I was traveling Highway 10 from West Coast to South Florida. I was with my 6 kids and pulling a trailer with all my belongings and 3 dogs. I was in a big SUV. It was around 2 a.m. The kids were all asleep, and my daughter, about 13 years old, was in the passenger seat to make sure I stayed awake. So after traveling Highway 10 for 3 days, I had decided since we reached Florida, we would cut through the state to save some time. So we got off Highway 10, off and off-road, in hopes of getting gas and making some time. It was along Route 27, Apalachicola National Forest. We came to the first little gas station. It was closed. I was nervous. We need gas, so we continued on. I told my daughter to keep an eye out for deer crossing the 2-lane deserted highway because hitting a deer could kill us all and turn us over due to the trailer we were pulling. We were traveling around 45 miles an hour. I remember this so clearly, like it was yesterday, but it was 3 years ago. We had our brights on because the road was dark and winding. A few houses, but not many. As we came around a corner in the headlights on the road was a lot of blood, fresh blood, and on the side of the road was this 6 or 7 foot tall like deer, but on its hind legs, haunched over, a dead deer eating it. It didn't look up, not even when my headlights hit it. It was using its arms like a human eating the deer. It was a very muscular body and pointed ears. It had a long muzzle. If you ever saw a werewolf, this was it. Skinnier lower body, but used its arms and hands, just like a human. If it had looked up, I would have died. I looked over at my daughter. We were both seeing the same thing at the same time. Tears came to my eyes instantly, and at the same time we both said, "Werewolf!" I sped up. I was scared it would run, jump on the trailer, and kill my dogs. As we got about a mile away, my heart was beating so hard, my daughter and I were so freaked out. It was a werewolf or a dogman of some sort. I've never been a believer in a dogman. I don't watch any movies or have any reason to make this up. And as a matter of fact, till today, I have only told a handful of people. There is a werewolf in Florida. Not sure of the exact town or road, but I wish I did know so I could find out if we were the only ones to have seen this thing. I will live my life wondering.